Okay, so there I am. I'm on an airplane last week, ready to come home to sunny Southwest Florida. I was in freezing cold Denver, Colorado doing a professional development event, and who's even more excited than I am to get there? The gentleman sitting next to me. He's what we call a snowbird. That's an elderly person wearing a fedora usually and a Tommy Bahama shirt that lives somewhere cold that escapes during the winter time. So there I am, I'm sitting next to him, and he has this Sudoku book in his hand like every other snowbird on the plane, and but he hasn't done any of the puzzle yet. And so about 5 minutes go by and I glance back over and he still hasn't done any of the puzzle yet. And about 3 more minutes go by. I look over, still hasn't done the puzzle yet. I'm like, either this dude is just as bad as I am at Sudoku, or maybe he's just holding it and I couldn't even figure out what he was doing. So there we go, the plane is starting to speed down the runway and up into the air. And I'm having that like little mini, please God, don't let the plane crash. You know you do the same thing. But anyway, I look over and the whole puzzle was mysteriously and magically filled out. So there must have been like a 30 to 45 second window where homeboy went from complete blank page to completely finished. And I'm like, what? Did I like black out or something? But no, we were still in our ascent. I look over and he's finishing like the last 2 squares. And I'm like, what? And I knew there had to be some kind of wisdom there. So that's what we're gonna unpack today on Beyond Academics. All right, so this is what I learned from watching and thinking about what the gentleman next to me did with a Sudoku puzzle. I don't think enough. Like I don't stop, take a breath, and think enough. And that's all he did. He thought and thought and thought, and he strategized and strategized and strategized, and then he laid out this beautiful solution to a puzzle. And I'm like, wow, you know, if I just applied that a little bit more in my life, I would be that much better off. But the problem is, and I think you'll agree with me, is that life doesn't feel like it really lends itself to stopping, slowing down, and thinking, especially in education. But when we don't, sometimes life gets the worst from us, doesn't it? Like whether that's like an email that you respond to because you're just fed up with somebody's stuff in your department, or a boss asks you to do something and you don't think it's fair and you email back and you're like, oh, that sounded kind of rude, gonna get fired now. Or maybe you're just trying to like bulldoze through all of your content and a kid asks a question and you already answered that question, but that kid wasn't paying attention and now you start breathing fire at him. When we are purely reactive, I don't think that we are at our best. But how do we do it? Okay, so I have 2 things that you can do that research shows that will help you to be less reactive, less grumpy, less explosive, more happy, more creative, and more successful. So here we go. The first one is journaling. And so if you're like, you want me to keep a diary? No, that's not what I'm saying. Journaling isn't a weird thing. While you're eating breakfast or while you're at a stoplight, or wake up 10 minutes earlier and jot down what you're thinking about. By kind of offloading some of that stuff, it helps your brain to kind of concentrate on the tasks that you have at hand, and it helps you to be less reactive and more proactive. And the second thing is this: neuroplasticity shows us that whatever we practice at, we get better at. And so my challenge to you is this week, when you feel yourself about to just be purely reactive, whether that's with an email, a phone call, one of your kids at home that's tugging on your shirt while you're trying to like do something around the house, or whatever it is, start practicing. You might not be good at it, but don't worry, growth mindset tells us that we are just not good at it yet. And no matter what, our brains will figure it out if we give it some repetition. So again, there are just 2 quick, easy ways that'll hopefully help you to be less reactive, more proactive, more happy, and more successful. All right, guys, my name's Jeff Becker, and this was Beyond Academics. Make sure you hit that subscribe button below and share these videos with an educator you care about. And you can go to www.jeffbecker.org to find more.